I think there are people who are laughing to give you some flowers.
All right, thank you. Please, please. Oh my goodness. Are you going to make a Keukenhof here? Yeah, just anywhere. Thank you.
Master Singhai, in Holland this we call Mother Day, and we hope that you feel very happy on Mother Day in Holland. This is for us a very special day.
Thank you.
So it means double that you are here, Mother of the Earth.
Thank you. I wish to make a very special, loving prayer to all the mothers in Netherlands. And thank you for coming. Would you please distribute this to all the mothers later? It is very nice that we have such a celebration so we can remember our mothers. I would like to share some very good, important news to the Holland brothers and sisters. There are two ways that we can live our life in this world, and you all know that. One way is the normal way that we accept everything that happens to us as a destiny. And there's another way that we know God's grace and we can live a much happier, a much smoother and more peaceful life. The most of the people in the world, we choose to live the first way of life because we do not know the second way. We would like to know the second way, but it is most of the time hidden from us, even though it is very, very simple, as if taking something out of your pocket. We just don't know how. So we live mostly unfulfilled, most of the time very frustrated, unhappy life. Once we know the grace of God, life begins to change. Life begins to be the way it should be. Life begins to be like heaven. So today we will talk about the second way of living, which will bring us happiness, which will bring us heaven, which will bring us peace inside and outside. The way to contact with the grace of God, people call that the way of enlightenment, the way of Jesus, the way of Buddha, the way of Mohammed, the way of those great masters in the ancient and in the present and in the future. I'm not trying to say the way of religions, because religion has two essence. One is the theory, that we read the Bible, we become pious, we keep the commandments of God, and we fast, or we be a good person, we help one another. That is one way. And there's another way, the spiritual way is much, much deeper. The spiritual way is the way we can contact directly to God and tell Him everything that we want to tell, and He will tell us how we're going to solve the problems, or He's going to bless us so that our life will become exactly the way we want to live. Because in the Bibles or in many of the religious scriptures, they don't mention how to contact God. Just mention that the ancient times, like Saint John or whomever has contacted God, or Moses have seen God, and then he gets blessed, and then he has wisdom, etc., etc. But the Bible or the scripture do not tell us how to get the wisdom the way Moses did. Jesus has meditated in the desert for 40 days, similar with Muhammad, and similar with the Buddha, similar with Mohammed, etc., etc. There are endless of masters since ancient time. I cannot mention them all, but they all have to go through a process of contemplating for a long time and everyday life in order to contact God inside of us. Now, in the ancient time, the communication system was not very efficient. The transportation system was almost non-existent. So to find someone who can show us the way to achieve the grace of God or the way to return to our kingdom of God within ourselves is almost impossible. And that's why most of the scriptures of the religion mention about this spiritual subject in a very precious way, in a very mysterious way, in a very kind of very hard to find subject and very hard to achieve. And they don't even write out the method for us. But nowadays, because of all the convenience of scientific discovery, we can share with each other anything that we know in a moment of, in a matter of hours or minutes or any time that we can see each other. Anytime we want to see each other or to want to see someone who knows the way, we can always fly over there or go by car, by bus. It's just a matter of a few hours or few days. Then we can know whatever we want to know about spiritual practice. And even if we could not see the person who knows it, we can also see the person who is delegated from this so-called spiritual guide, a spiritual friend, and we waste no time. We can always learn anywhere in the world. And this is very lucky for us. I did not know that. I thought I have to go to Himalaya. But that was my destiny. Yeah. I have to go there in order to come back and tell you that you don't have to go there. So it wasn't a waste of time. It was the way of the working of God. But it's not the Himalayas that make us enlightened. It is a spiritual power that is transmitted to us through a living chosen station, a living chosen like spiritual pole. If God have chosen you to as a like electric pole, He will transmit the power through you and then to another person. That's very simple. Because God is nameless. God is invisible in some way. So is it difficult for us to know Him? But if He has chosen someone to kind of transmit this power from Him, then it's easier for us to relate. And then we can assimilate this gradually until we become one with God, until we know God completely. And that is the process of complete enlightenment. The person who is chosen to be a transmitting pole for God power is no better than anybody else on this planet. He also eats cheese. It's just that in order to light a torch, another torch has been alighted, and then you use that torch to light another, and then light another, and light another. So in order to light many torches, one fire must be made in the beginning, and that is just a chosen pole. Someone has to begin first, and everything else comes from that. So in my experience that God has shown me, there's no mystery about how to know God. It's very, very simple. Even children can have the experience of God. Exactly the experience that written in the Bible. Like if Moses has seen God as a big burst of flames, if other saints have heard God like the sound of many waters, we can experience exactly the same like that, and more. That's why Jesus has told us that whatever He can do, we can do also. Because it's not Him that was doing, it was the Father. Similar to us, if we will be transmitted this God power, or we be rekindle this existing power within us again, then we can also experience heaven while we are living in this planet. We can also have the healing power. We can also have the blessing from God so we can share it with others. We can also be successful in spiritual life as well as material life at the same time. We can have both heaven and earth at the same time and enjoy both. Because most of us enjoy only the world and do not know there's another world exists, that is heaven. We heard that heaven exists and we can see it after we die, but it's not so. We can see it right now. We can see it in two ways. One way is more materialized, like after the process of transmission, we become happier, we become more intelligent, more quick reacting, more tolerant, more loving, and more successful in many ways. And we can even see the future and the past, and we can know how to solve the present problems, etc., etc. And all the people around us, our family, friends, became better and better also. And that is one materialized ways of the grace of God. But there is another way that we can see heaven truly with our heavenly eye. And that is literally speaking. We can enter heaven as a place. And we enter it not by the physical body, but by a spiritual body. And then we can come back again to the physical body and continue our daily activity. And nobody ever suspects that we are a saint. That saves a lot of problems. People don't come and flock to our house and start worshiping the dirt at our feet and make our home became a free cost and loss hotel. Yeah, because you know very well throughout the history, any saint who became well-known, then he's finished. He has no privacy, no time for himself, no home, no rest, no anonymity, nothing. He has become a servant of the public. See, in the old time, if you read the Bibles, any Bible, even the Quran, the Christian, the Buddhist, they stated some saints in the past, the way they see heaven, they come up to heaven and they heard a trumpet and they see the flame of God, is God, and they heard God speaking and all that. Just a few experience, and they have been so famous, even it's written in the record of the Bible. And we can have all this experience, but we keep quiet. Nobody knows. It's better. Yes, we can see angels, we can see all the saints in the past and present and the future. We can talk to God also in one way or another in a heavenly language or even in human language, in Portuguese, in Netherlandish, in Dutch, in Deutsch, in Französisch. Every language you can communicate with God directly. And still no one will know anything about your inner development. Since ancient times, if we become well-known for some reason, or maybe it's God's will that we became well-known as a spiritual guide, then there is a lot of unpleasant surround us. Sometimes the spiritual teacher has been also persecuted by the people who do not understand, by the fanatics, by the government, or by some religious frenzies. So it is it better for us, and it is advisable also that we keep our spiritual experience within ourselves, within the circle of our people, because we understand each other and we know that we having the same experience. There's nothing strange, nothing mysterious, nothing blasphemous about it, because we all have similar experience and we know very, very well. But outside people, sometimes they do not understand. They would think that we are making up story. And that's the reason why many of the saints in the past have been persecuted. But nowadays, the freedom of religions is greater, and human right has been more respected, and so we have more opportunity to know spiritual practice. We can do it more openly. But even then, the spiritual experience, the heavenly blessing that we know from God, is always advisable to keep for ourselves alone.